What's up, Facebook fam? This your girl, Shonda, coming to you from Beatrice by Grace Ministries. I'm really excited about all of this animation technology, so I thought I'd come to you this way today. I hope that you are blessed by the message that the Lord has given me to share. While Juneteenth is still on our minds, I wanted to share some thoughts about our legacy of liberty. So how did America, and eventually its slaves, become empowered with liberty? The Great Awakening. It was a period of Christian revival during the late 1700s to late 1800s that revitalized faith and evangelized many, including the slave. What happened to America, then to its slaves, is what has happened throughout world history. As stated in Psalm 33:12, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Spiritual revival or empowerment is always followed by socio-political and socio-economic empowerment. Nowhere is this more evident than in the African American community. Notice that empowerment occurs in 3 levels: physical, intellectual, and supernatural. A well-known ancient proverb exemplifies the levels of power. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. However, the 3rd level of empowerment is not mentioned. Jesus spoke of this supernatural empowerment, saying, I am the bread of life. He that comes to me shall never hunger. This means if you connect a man to the Creator, you will eliminate his need altogether. This move of God helped pave the way for the American Revolution. This move of God contributed to social reform movements such as abolitionism. This move of God evangelized many in the slave community. This is the source of our Negro spirituals, as well as the development of the Underground Railroad. I know that everybody is familiar with the legacy of racism and slavery in America, oppression and wrongdoing that have been perpetrated against the African American people. But I wanted you to, because that's undeniable. However, I wanted you to consider that there is also a legacy of liberty, that there is also abolitionism. For those of you who may not know, because it hasn't been spoken of a lot, especially recently, abolitionism, which is also called the abolition movement, it was from 1783 to 1888. So from the moment the American Revolutionary War had ended, we began with a movement of abolitionism. This abolitionist movement took place in Western Europe and the Americas. This movement is chiefly responsible for creating the emotional climate necessary for ending the transatlantic slave trade. Something that is worth considering is that America, the moment it was sovereign, it began to emancipate its slave citizens. But why then? What was so special about the late 1700s? Well, Jesus taught a spiritual law that explained this timing. He showed us that a servant doesn't have the legal authority to make other servants free, but a son does. And by the same spiritual law, a slave cannot be liberated if his master is not first liberated. This is exactly how America as a nation was not spiritually in a position to emancipate its slaves while under British rule. But once it was free, then it could spiritually pass down that liberty to its inhabitants. From 1619 until the Declaration of Independence in 1776, the 13 colonies were under the rule of Great Britain, which included England, Scotland, and Ireland. When America won the Revolutionary War in 1781, only then was it considered its own sovereign country in the eyes of both God and man. From then, it only took about 84 years for the abolitionism, the evangelism of the slave, and the Underground Railroad to culminate in the emancipation of the slave. There is a definite duality to America. Just make sure you acknowledge the Christian and abolitionist legacy of America. Acknowledge that only about 84 years of slavery actually occurred under the American flag. Acknowledge the fact that God was able to work his supernatural plan of the Great Awakening to emancipate both the nation as well as its slaves.